Hi, my name is Lauren Long. I'm with the Zionsville Tri Team. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a flat tire. The first thing you'll want to do is make sure you have the tools needed. And the first thing you'll need is a saddlebag to hold all your tools. The next thing you'll need is obviously the tube itself. You'll need tire levers to get off the tire, and last, you'll need a way to pump up that tire. Today we're going to use CO2, the little adapter. You can also use a hand pump. This is much easier, much more efficient. If you're racing, this is the way to go. First thing we'll want to do is open up the brake on the tire that's flat. With old school campy, what you want to do is tighten the brake a little bit, press this little button over, and that will allow your brakes to come off the rim a little bit more, giving that extra room. You want to make sure when you put the wheel back on, again, grab it, push that back over so you have your maximum braking potential. For SRAM Shimano brakes, they have this lever. Before you take your wheel out, you want to make sure you open the lever. That'll help you get the tire out easier. And you also want to remember when you put it back on to close the lever so you have your maximum braking potential. Once you've done that, the easiest way to take off a tire is to flip it over. So flip this bike over onto the handlebar and the saddle. If you don't want to do that, if you have an expensive computer up front, maybe you have a tri-bike and the aero bars won't let you do that, just lay it on its side or have a friend that's with you hold it up. After that, the next step is to open the quick release. You'll pull that back, unscrew it until it will pop out. Now, if you're doing a back wheel, it's a little bit harder. All the steps up to now are the same. You'll open the quick release, unscrew it, and you will lift the derailleur and lift the rear wheel out. And we'll go over that a little bit more later. But right now, our flat here is on the front. So we'll take that out. We'll take one of our tire levers. You'll put your tire lever into the tire underneath like that. Then you just do this all the way around, gently taking the tire off of the rim. Next step, you want to peel back the tire to expose the tube. From there, you just pull that out, and there you go. Now the next big step is figuring out what caused your flat. A couple ways to do this. Sometimes you can just visually inspect your tire, take a look, see if you see any glass, any thorns, anything like that in there. I guess you just moved a big rock, which is probably the problem for this one. If you don't see anything on the outside, you move to the inside. You want to be very careful here because if there is something in there, it could cut you. So maybe a light finger through there, see if you feel anything. If you don't feel anything and the visual inspection doesn't see anything, the next step is to take the tire itself, you need to blow it up, use your mouth, and figure out where the air is leaking from. The air is leaking from here. You can do a quick trick. Put it back where your tire is, and the recommendation here is always keep the label right above the valve stem. You take that, move it to here, you know your problem is either going to be there, or if you flip it around, over here. So check those two spots, and if there's still nothing there, you don't see it, or you've already taken out, you're ready to move on. So the first thing we'll do, put it right back down in that stem. Then you're going to flip that tire back over, and gently move it around, over onto the rim. Always make sure you get it above, don't just stick it right there because it'll pinch. Make sure you get it up and over on top of the rim. Once you get that done, you are now ready to start putting the tire back on. I like to start where the valve is, and we'll pull back. And you'll start seeing that the tire itself will seat itself inside of that rim. If your tube pops back out, no worries, just get it up there. Move it back up there. Keep moving that around. Your tire will want to come out, your tube might want to come out, as the whole tire is trying to. Just keep moving it up there. Keep seating that. Once you get to the last little bit, it gets a little tricky. Trick here is to keep it away from you and pull towards you. Trick here is when you do this last little part, pull towards you and it should pop right back on. Don't use a tire lever. Some people say to do it, but don't. You almost always pinch flat. Unless you're really experienced, you can do it. Otherwise, just tug away. Our next step is a quick visual inspection. Make sure nothing's popping out. See a spot right there, and make sure it's tucked in. The next thing to do when using CO2 is you'll want to put the CO2 cartridge into your CO2 shooter here. To insert your CO2 cartridge, one side will usually have a threaded valve. You'll put that in there, and you will thread that on as far as you can take it. Sometimes you'll hear a little bit of air once it's actually been threaded, sometimes you won't. Once that's on there nice and tight, you know you're ready to put that on the tube to blow it up. The next step, some of these will come with a threaded, some won't, but you want to put this on your open Presta. And if it's threaded, you can twist it just a little bit to lock it into place. Once it's locked into place, some will have a lever, some will have a button. However it may be, you want to know that ahead of time, so maybe practice with it once in the garage. Then what you'll do, whatever way it may be, is you will start to fill it with air. Remember, do it slowly, because if this is not seated correctly in the rim, you'll get a blowout, and then you've got another flat tire. So I always do a quick check, both sides, make sure nothing's popping out. If I don't see anything, give it a little more air. I do that maybe 2 or 3 times just to make sure you don't see any bulges in your tire. Like I said, if you do, it's a very loud bang. Your hearing will be impaired temporarily, and you're out of tube. Once I've done all those, I'm going to go ahead and finish it out. It looks good. With these, you can give them just about all the CO2 cartridge has. 16 gram, I believe, is about 100 psi. Once you have that on there, be careful, this will be cold. You will very carefully unscrew this because you don't want to lose a lot of air. And once you get that unscrewed and off of your Presta valve, you will reseal your valve by turning it. And there you go. Now you fill your tube, it's pumped up, it's not losing air. You'll reinstall it. Next, you want to install it back onto the fork. Make sure it's in there. Tighten this down. Always make sure your quick release is on the non-drive side. So all of the gears, all of your derailleurs, your crank are on the other side. From there, tighten it up. You want to make sure you get it pretty tight. Don't make it loose. Tighten it down. Good to go. To reinstall, lift up the chain, put it back on that first cog, bring your derailleur back, seat it, make sure you get it between the brakes down there. Once you do that, push it right back into place. Tighten your quick release again. Remember, make sure to really get it tight. You don't want this thing coming off. Put it on, flip it over, and you're ready to ride. Remember to pack up all your stuff when you're done, your tubes, CO2 cartridges, put those back in there. If you have a patch kit with you, that's always a good thing too, because now if you flat another tire, you've got 2 flats, no extras, you can patch it. Don't patch it on the first try, just change it. Hope you found this informative. Thank you.